Okay, so we found another spot here right up the street. You can see this lovely little street here. It's a nice walk. You can just cruise down here. And we've stumbled across another bumbo restaurant here. Now, this one has our traditional bumbo hui, and I'm really excited to try it. Now, bumbo is a famous dish in Vietnam. It's about on par with pho. Now, bumbo goes all the way back to the early 1800s, when the royal court had their specialty dishes. And the Hue province was famous for its spicier Vietnamese dishes, such as bumbo hue. Now, the modern version is very much the same, and it's served all over Ho Chi Minh City and other parts of Vietnam. So we're gonna walk on in here. We're gonna sit down and order ourselves some food and see how much different the wet version is than the dry version. It's ironic I was mentioning Hue earlier because this is a lovely photo of the region. Now, I was pleasantly surprised when I walked into this restaurant. It has a very traditional atmosphere, and some of the artwork, we have a lovely little hat up on the wall, and these lanterns even represent a lot of historical Vietnamese culture. So I think it's a great opportunity to not just eat bumbo hue, but also experience the authenticity of the environment that goes with it. So looking at the history of the Hue province, as well as looking at the history of the food, it's very easy to see how deep Vietnamese culture goes into every part of society. And it's a wonderful part of being in the country. Okay, so we received our food and I'm very excited for this. Now, you can tell just by looking at it, it's somewhat similar to the other one. We have our vegetables, we have our chili and our lime. Now, a lot of the meat you see in here is similar. Let me pull some of this out and show you. So instead of having the thin strips of beef, you can see we have some larger, heftier chunks of meat here, and they have quite a bit of fat on them as well. That will be amazing. And then we don't have the small shallot onions. We have some full white onions cut into very small pieces here. And the broth of this bumbo hue, you can tell that broth looks very similar to the soup that we had at the previous spot. All of this together is going to be a really wonderful mix of deep and savory flavors. We have all of our wonderful ingredients in this dish. We've got the beef, we've got more of our condensed sausage, I'll call it. Now the vegetables, we have our chilled greens here, and then these look like they've been grilled. They're a bit warm, I can feel that. So all of that will be amazing in my bumbo hue here. Now, I have my chopsticks, but I need a spoon as well. I'm going to reach into my COVID safety bag and retrieve my sanitized spoon. It's a very clever way of doing that. I like it. First things first is I need to get some of these vegetables acquainted with my soup. Oh, am I taking all of it? I guess I'm taking all of it. There we go. Big pile of veggies. Very good. Very healthy. Okay, and then I'm going to squeeze some of the lime onto that.
Wonderful.
And you know what? I'll even be a bit brave this time and I'll put some chilies in here.
There we go.
You can tell here the noodles are the same type of noodles. And they're very clean and white because they don't have the sauce on them like the previous place did. I have 3 jars for my sauce here instead of 2. And you can see, looking at these are the manufactured dishes I was talking about earlier. They're very clean, very cute, but they don't have that sort of historical and traditional attractiveness to them like the previous place did. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it looks good, but it's always a pleasant surprise to see those traditional ceramic dishes being used. And let's see what else we have here. Okay, we have some chili oil as well. Now, I'm not sure which mixture this is. There are many different types here in Vietnam. All of them are wonderful. Sometimes they will mix it with a chili oil, or sometimes they will mix it with some soy sauce or some fish sauce. This one smells like fish sauce. So it's probably fish sauce with chilies in it, maybe a bit of chili oil or sugar. It depends on the mixture. Maybe I'll dip some of the meat in that. So we can go ahead and prepare our sauce here. We'll put a little bit of the fish sauce into there. All right. Very nice. And they've also given us some, I believe this is mam tom, or fermented shrimp paste. Let's take a look at our meat here. This looks very tender.
There we are. That looks wonderful.
It's very tender and rich. It tastes like it's been marinated in either the broth or something else. When you bite into it, it's got that juiciness, but also that depth of flavor from being soaked in its own flavors. That's really nice. Okay, we have to get some of these noodles as well. I'll try my best. Oh. That saute is really wonderful. It adds a nice little bit of extra bite to it. The funny thing about eating these spicy dishes is with the weather here in Vietnam, you take a bite of that chili and you can immediately just feel it. Your entire body just feels a bit warmer. I have to be careful not to sweat. Hey, now this one looks like another sort of meatball.
Yeah, so
It's another compressed meatball, and it's very similar to the previous one. A bit tangier on the flavor, so perhaps the seasoning they put in it is a little bit different. That will go wonderfully with that fish sauce as well. The fish sauce has a very nice saltiness to it, which really brings out the flavors of the meat. I can also taste a bit of the lemongrass in there as well. That lemongrass, you know, it's an easy to forget about ingredient when you're cooking, but it really does complement dishes so well. The noodles on this one are a little bit stiffer. The ones on the other dish felt a bit softer. I don't know if that was a preference of the restaurant or a property of the dish, but they're both wonderful. So the ingredients are more or less the same as the other dish, just a few small changes, but the dish itself is quite different. So because you have that broth in there, when you eat the noodles, they don't have as much flavor on them because they don't have the sauce stuck to them. But when you scoop some of the broth up here with your bite of noodles and meat, you really feel that depth of flavor from the broth. So the experience is quite different than the dry noodles. The dry noodles, it feels more like a heavy snack when you're eating it. You just shovel it in there. This one, you have to be more meticulous with how you pick it apart. You know, a little bit of vegetables on the spoon. And due to the nature of the broth, I would suppose it doesn't mix as easily as the other dish. The other dish, you just stir it together. This one, you have to sort of pick it apart when you eat it. Now, my favorite dish, which one I like the most? It's hard to say if I have a favorite. I love them both. Maybe from my personality, I would say the dry noodles are my favorite, but it's very, very difficult to choose because this is also so wonderful. Maybe bún bò Huế in general is my favorite dish. Oh, there's a plot twist. I'm having all this delicious hot savory food. I think I need something to relax with. So we're gonna hunt down some dessert. I know of an amazing idea. I'll surprise you with that in a minute here. I'm gonna finish eating my food, sit down for 2 minutes, and then we'll walk over to the next place and finish our day there.